Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second webinar in the 2025-2026 Farm to Institution webinar series titled Voices of the Net. Next. My name is Todd McLane, and I am the TC3 Farm Director and Adjunct Associate Professor in the Sustainable Farming and Food Systems program at Tompkins Cortland Community College in Dryden, New York, and I will be your moderator today. Helping out with today's webinar is FINE's Director of Communications, Sarah Lyman. She is here for tech support. We'll be keeping up with the chat. I'd like to briefly tell you a little bit about Farm to Institution New England. FINE is a dynamic network of communities, organizations, and institutions working together to create a just, equitable, and regenerative food system in New England and beyond. They believe institutions hold substantial power and wield significant influence in our food system through their food service, education, investment, employment, and land use. We know that developing institutional food value chains that are responsive to community needs and rooted in racial justice, food sovereignty, and climate resilience is a critical way to leverage the power of institutions to change the food system. The changes we seek can only be achieved when led by a collaborative, adaptive network. I recently read their impact report detailing their work from the past year, including an event report from the 2025 Northeast Farm to Institution Summit they held back in April. Check them out when you have the chance. I first encountered FINE in 2018 when I presented at and attended the Campus Farmers Summit at Stonehill College. And I have found the organization to be extremely supportive and inspiring for all of us working towards a just, resilient, and equitable food system. If you're here, you are excited to hear from our webinar speakers. But did you know that this is the second in a whole series of great presentations this winter? As a way to keep the energy going from this spring's Northeast Farm to Institution Summit, we are thrilled to host a monthly webinar series called Voices of the Net. Each month this fall and winter, you can tune in to learn about food waste in schools, farming for inclusion and healing, food justice in carceral settings, and sustainable procurement. Register for each one separately to join live, and we'll also send you the recordings. We would like to thank the Henry P. Kendall Foundation for supporting FINE in this webinar series. Next. Our webinar today is titled Care Farming, Farming for Healing and Inclusive Community Building. We have 1 hour together where you will hear from 4 different speakers on what care farming is and how it connects to institutional supply chain. We'll make sure to leave time for questions. If you have a question, please type it in the chat at any time. We will aggregate those questions and save them for a 10 to 15-minute Q&A. At the end of the webinar, we'd be grateful if you'd answer our brief evaluation survey to close things out. Please take a moment to share your name and organization in the chat now. We encourage you to share comments or other information with folks attending the webinar today. Next. And I would like to now turn it over to our first speaker, Kate Mudge of the Care Farming Network.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you, FINE, for having us all here today. And yes, it's a joy to present about Care Farming Network, our members, and the work that we're doing. My name is Kate Mudge. I do serve as the co-director of Care Farming Network. And what we do is connect established and aspiring care farms by fostering meaningful support and raising awareness about the transformative power of care farming by providing the resources, expertise, and community needed to either start, scale, or replicate care farms across the country. And I thought it would be kind of fun to do a quick poll just because a lot of people don't know what care farming is. And I gave you a little sense there of what Care Farming Network does, but you'll see in the chat here in the polls, just a quick question. Are you familiar with care farming? Very familiar? Maybe you've heard of it, don't know much, or totally new. So if you wouldn't mind, just add your answer in there. And it looks like we're trending towards no, this is new to me. which is fantastic to have a webinar to introduce you to this incredible work. Thank you for, uh, I'm going to stop sharing here, but thank you for adding your voice there. Here, I'll share results. I didn't even know we could do that. So the Care Farming Network, it grew out of nearly 3 decades of experience at Red Wiggler Care Farm, which is located in Germantown, Maryland. And Red Wiggler was founded in 1996 and has long demonstrated what's possible when people with and without disabilities work side by side in ag. Red Wiggler serves as both a model care farm and also the organizational home of Care Farming Network. And over the years, the founder of Red Wiggler received repeated calls from farmers across the country asking for guidance. They were saying, how do we do this work? How do you do this work? How'd you start up? Where's the support for care farming? And out of that, the Care Farming Network was formally launched to meet that need, to create both the infrastructure and shared learning and community for care farmers nationwide throughout the United States. And since then, the network has grown really rapidly, allowing us to do things like hosting webinars ourselves, doing in-person meetups, lots of farm tours. We have an online resource library, and we will be hosting our second national convention in February. So at Care Farming Network, to get into, for those of you that are not familiar with this concept, what care farming is, we define care farming as the intentional integration of agricultural practices with therapeutic inventions. And what does that do? It helps promote health, well-being, and belonging. So care farming really offers a purposeful, structured approach where participants engage with nature and agricultural tasks within a really supportive community. And care farms provide that care and support to many diverse populations, such as those people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, veterans, trauma survivors, people in recovery. I'll share a little bit more about some of the other populations in just a few slides. One thing to note is care farming is really rooted in social inclusion and community building. So whether you're growing vegetables or tending animals or engaging in some kind of vocational training, people find those opportunities to connect and contribute. For many people, care farms are empowering environments where they're able to develop new skills, oftentimes are experiencing a real deep sense of purpose and being part of a supportive community. And care farming is a really modern term here in the United States. There's some longstanding traditions in Europe, like the Netherlands or Norway, Italy, Belgium, the UK, where there's thousands of care farms and people are more familiar with this concept, excuse me. In contrast, the U.S. care farming movement is in its kind of infancy, but it's growing really quickly. We've already mapped over 360 farms nationwide. And before moving on, I just want to really briefly talk about why care farming matters. As you can see on this slide, care farming provides physical activity, time outdoors, connection to nature, all of these things which we know to be true, which support our physical and mental health. Research also shows that farm-based activities do things like reduce stress and anxiety, and they increase confidence in our overall well-being. And they're also really powerful spaces for social inclusion and for skill building. So care farmers aren't necessarily defined by a diagnosis. They are recognized for their contributions, building vocational and social and life skills through purposeful work. Sometimes when you're defining care farming, it's a little bit easier to talk about what care farming isn't. Care farming is not just a traditional farm. We've got farming at the heart of it, but care farms are providing, again, a structured and intentional program focusing on well-being, on education, on vocational training, on employment. It's also not just a hobby farm or an agritourism site. While these types of farms might have visitors and host events, care farms offer a clear mission that focuses again on inclusion and social impact and participant growth. You'll see that it's not an exclusive model. Care farms can embrace a wide variety of approaches. There's not really a one size fits all. And also, care farming isn't a one-way service. We have a mutual engagement happening. So you have activities that are really meaningful to both the participants or the growers or the farmers, and also to the volunteers and the staff. Everybody's getting something out of the experience of working on a care farm. One of the things that people often ask is, who are care farms actually for? And as you'll see here, the answer is a lot of different people, a lot of different communities. Many farms are designed to support specific populations, depending on kind of the mission and capacity of each farm. And across our network, care farms participants will include elders and immigrants, refugees, people with disabilities, folks experiencing mental health challenges, perhaps some people impacted by the justice system, people in recovery. As you see, a lot of different types of communities and folks are served. Some care farms also integrate trauma-informed therapy directly into their programming. Others might partner closely with service providers. What unites all of these programs is intention. Again, structured environments designed to meet people where they are, using farming as that tool for connection and belonging. And just as the people served by care farms are diverse, so are the practices themselves. So you'll see care farms growing vegetables, managing orchards, caring for livestock, keeping bees, growing flowers, operating hydroponic or aquaponic systems, and producing even value-added products. And this diversity matters because it allows care farms to design roles and activities that match the different abilities and interests with therapeutic goals. Care farms also operate under a variety of models. Again, there's kind of no single right approach. You'll see that some farms here will focus on employment and job training. Maybe they'll offer paid work or vocational pathways. Others are providing therapeutic programming, including licensed therapy in a clinical setting. And some even have a residential or life-sharing approach, or integrate education or workforce development. What's important to note is that care farming is flexible by design because the farms are responding to local needs, to their funding structures, to different partnerships, while holding these shared commitments around inclusion and dignity. And at its core, our network is sort of focused on three things. We're working to raise awareness and build community and create capacity. And we do this through storytelling, our website, social media, podcasts, webinars such as this. We're connecting care farmers to each other through our online directory and map. We have regional meetups, farm tours, member gatherings. I mentioned our national conference. We also create the capacity for care farmers to either start up or expand by offering professional consultations. Again, our online resource library, we have a mentorship program, and just a lot of guidance for people who are beginning to explore care farming. And impact. All of our work is about impact at the farm level and system-wide. We support a lot of research that validates care farming practices, elevates people's stories from the field, and shares evidence of how farm-based activities really do support mental health and skill building and this social connection. Raising awareness is a critical part of our work. Again, thank you for having us today here, because again, care farming is still relatively unknown in the US. So we're engaging with media and participating in conferences all across the country to share stories about what our members on our network are doing. And our goal is to ensure that care farming is understood as a legitimate and effective model. We have an ambitious goal of a care farm in every county. Today, we have mapped more than 360 care farms across the United States. If you visit our website, we have a really neat map where you can actually filter by your region or farming practice or population served and see who might be in your neck of the woods. And why we're here today is to talk about your work, farm to institution. We know that care farms are really natural partners for many institutions. Across our network, we're seeing care farms providing produce to group homes, donating food to local food banks, operating youth programs that integrate food grown on farms into school meals. So these partnerships clearly strengthen the local food system while also reinforcing the social mission of care farming. And partnerships with care farms, if you're an institution here, they offer really tangible benefits. For instance, we have food as medicine produce boxes that can support community health and prevention efforts. We have CSA shares provided to food banks that strengthen hunger relief. Or universities sourcing greens and herbs while also creating experiential learning opportunities for students in ag or social work or occupational therapy. So these partnerships are kind of naturally developing amongst care farms and others. And lastly, institutions can really value sourcing from care farms because often it aligns food purchasing with values. It's supporting things like therapeutic engagement and inclusion and community well-being, while also providing fresh, locally grown food produced often using very positive ecological practices. So these partnerships create these opportunities again for things like internships, hands-on learning, community-based research, while allowing the institutions to communicate the meaningful impact there. So I'll just close with an invitation for my section here. There are a lot of ways to get involved with Care Farming Network. Please visit our website, sign up for our newsletter. We send that out monthly. We have all sorts of things like monthly member gatherings. I mentioned our conference. Our 2026 national conference is going to be taking place just outside of Washington, D.C. in February from the 9th through the 11th. And really, whether you're a farmer or an institutional partner, a service provider, or an advocate, we really hope you'll find a place and an invitation to be part of this growing movement to really help shape the future of care farming in the United States.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing with us today, Kate. If you have any questions for Kate, please put them in the chat. Next, we will hear from Rachel Gillis of Capabilities to introduce herself. Rachel, you're still muted.
Yep,
Nope.
sorry about that. Thank you, Todd. Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Gillis, and I am the farm director at Capabilities Farm here on Cape Cod. I have the privilege of leading a team that runs a working farm, a retail market, garden center, and food programs, while also creating meaningful hands-on vocational training and employment opportunities for adults with disabilities. I've been with the organization for just about 5 years, and I've grown so much alongside my team, and it's a pleasure to be a part of this webinar and FINE and the Care Farming Network to speak about care farming and all the amazing ways it builds community for the individuals we serve, and creates a stronger bond with compassion and understanding to the people who are part of our mission. So who are we? Capabilities Farm is one part of a much larger organization. The organization offers many services for adults with disabilities across Cape Cod, including housing, transportation, day hab, community-based day support programs, vocational services, and these are 2 social enterprises, the farm being one, and we also have a thrift store. You can learn more about the whole organization on our website, capabilities.org. And today I am going to focus on the farm as the place where a community sees our mission in action. On the farm, we have 7 greenhouses where we hydroponically grow 1,800 heads of lettuce, over 1,400 tomato plants, 200 cucumber plants, and 240 buckets of herbs. We have a farm market, a gift shop, a garden center for annuals, perennials, and natives, as well as 3 food programs that we run out of here. Every day, the farm brings together people with disabilities, the staff, volunteers, customers, and community members in a shared working environment. The work is real work. The expectations are real and the contributions are real. People aren't participating in a program about inclusion. They are participating in inclusion itself. Our goal at the farm is simple. We offer meaningful work, real connection, and a shared purpose. And when those 3 things are present, community forms naturally. We often refer to the farm as family because in our minds, it truly is. Our volunteers not only come in for their shift to help out, but they're also coming here to shop, check in, and just be a part of our little family. We have customers that come from all over the Cape to support us, and we have customers that come in several times each week to engage and check out, chat with our amazing cashiers. So the community through our daily work, care farming, it works because of what happens in the ordinary everyday moments. Participants are not separated out or given simulated tasks. They are greeting customers, harvesting the crops, running the register, caring for plants, and supporting production alongside the staff and volunteers. The work is visible, valued, and connected to the local food system. What's powerful here is that relationships form without being forced. People learn about one another through the shared tasks, solving problems together, asking questions, and showing up together day after day. We truly meet everyone where they are. For visitors, the impact is immediate. They see pride, responsibility, and capability, and that visibility breaks down assumptions faster than any explanation ever could. The next slide with community through engagement. In addition to our daily work, we intentionally create opportunities for connection. Our farm stand is currently open 7 days per week and encourages conversation and repeat relationships. Customers recognize individuals by name and individuals recognize their regulars. Volunteers just don't come to help for people, they come to work with them. And we host school visits, tours, and partner with groups who come to learn not just about the agriculture, but inclusion and practice. Seasonal plant sales and events may draw people in who may not have come to the farm otherwise and know about our nonprofit, but they come for the plants and they leave with this new understanding and just are always in awe when they learn about our mission. These touch points build familiarity, trust, and belonging over time. And in 2026, the farm is celebrating our 20th anniversary, and we're planning a community event every month and highlighting a brand new building under construction right now that we are calling the community space. Our goal with this building is a proper break space for our individuals, as well as a space to host educational workshops for the organization and the community. Our hope is to educate more people about what we do and how they can be a part of this magical place. That took 7 years to raise the funds for that building. Just as an FYI, these things, they take time. What I've learned a lot about this working in the nonprofit world is everything just takes a little bit longer, but it makes it that much more rewarding when things come to fruition. On the next slide with community through partnerships, the farm also serves as a connector, both within capabilities and within the broader community. We collaborate with local restaurants, nonprofits, businesses, and creating shared value through food programming and relationships. Produce donations and partnerships tie the farm directly back to the larger capabilities mission. None of our food goes in the dumpster. We have food pantries as well as a couple animal farms on speed dial. And when the produce or plants are not edible for people or humans, we compost. And the compost is used at our farm and is also donated to the local Wampanoag tribe and the community gardens. The farm has partnered with Barnstable County, which is the county of Cape Cod, on several projects and grants that aid in food security. That has made a huge impact to many people. And we are about to begin a new project with the county to get more food to people in need, which is very exciting. This is going to be privately donated money because we lost a big food security grant last year. So this is just the way the community is throwing some money together to try to get that food to the people in need. Internally, participants from other programs come to work or visit the farm, strengthening connections across sites. For many people, the farm is their first interaction with capabilities and becomes a welcoming gateway to understanding the organization as a whole. And internally, our participants from other programs come to work and visit the farm, strengthening connections across sites. For many people, the farm is their first interaction with capabilities, and then they become a welcome member. They want to be a part of it. Oftentimes, their first time here, I'm giving them the volunteer coordinator card, contact information, because they want to follow up. And it's just a beautiful thing when that happens. And why it all works. The model works because it is real, visible, and relational. And this is the last slide here. The farm is hands-on and welcoming. Community members are participating in something meaningful, not symbolic. The work needs to be done, and everyone involved has a role in making that happen. We are a bustling business with a lot of customers, so we have to maintain that pace. Relationships are built through shared responsibility rather than abstract ideas about inclusion. People come to understand one another by doing real work next to each other. And finally, the farm demonstrates capabilities, values, and actions. When people experience that firsthand, they want to engage more deeply with the farm and with the broader mission behind it. So I welcome you all to come visit the farm sometime. We're right on 6A and Dennis, on Cape Cod. And it's just a beautiful place to come check out our mission in action and really see what care farming is all about. So thank you all very much for having me today.
Wonderful, Rachel. Thank you so much. Sounds like Capabilities is a really powerful and impactful place on the Cape. Our last speakers of the day are Caroline Croft Este and Johnny Feifels from Vertical Harvest. Caroline and Johnny?
Great. Hi, everybody. Thanks, Todd, Kate, and Rachel. It was great hearing about everybody's organizations. Johnny and I are not together today. I've been a little ill this week, so we're on two different screens. But Johnny, good to see you.
Hi, how's it going?
So we'll start off with a little introduction of who we are. Can we go to the next slide, please? Johnny, do you want to introduce yourself first?
Okay, I'm Johnny Feifels. I'm a senior associate of microgreens. I've worked at Vertical Harvest for 10 years.
And Johnny, where are we located? Do you want to tell a little bit about our
We're
farm?
located in Jackson, Wyoming.
And we've got another farm. It's my background, even though I'm in Jackson Hole, Wyoming right now, that just was completed being built in Westbrook, Maine, so in the New England area. I like to say that the Jackson farm is iPhone 1 and the farm in Maine is iPhone 20, if that's even possible yet. That farm is slated to produce over 2.2 million pounds of produce a year, which is very exciting. Johnny, anything else about your background and who you are?
I used to work at the Elk Country Inn from 2011 to 2016.
And
I used to be a housekeeper.
And what about before? Where did you attend college?
Yeah, I went to school in the Central Wyoming College in Riverton, Wyoming from 2009 to 2011. Then I went to school to the University of Wyoming from 2011 to 2015.
Yes, you did. And you received a Bachelor of Arts, correct?
Yeah.
And now
humanities and fine arts.
Great. And anything else, John, about what you're passionate about or
Oh, I'm very passionate about human rights.
and some of your side hobbies, like what you do on Fridays at 11:30?
Yeah, I'm a local DJ at KHOL at 89.1.
Yes, he is. So you guys could tune in if you ever were interested. Well, my name
Yeah.
is Caroline, and I originally hail from the East Coast, but I've been out in Wyoming since 98. Did not see myself as a hydroponic farmer and or championing inclusive employment when I first got to Jackson Hole. I started off as a case manager for the DD Medicaid waiver, working with adults and children with disabilities. When I intersected with two other co-founders, Nona Yahya and Penny McBride of Vertical Harvest, back in about 2008, it was a time when a lot of the young adults I was working with were running into barriers to employment. So when I intersected with Nona and Penny and this whole idea of building a what hydroponic vertical farm in downtown Jackson Hole came to be, I said, hey, I think I've got a population of people that would really fit great in working in this industry, even though this industry was new and had just started kind of forming. So that is my background. I am a co-founder. I'm the chief potential officer. I like to say I grow the people that grow the plants. And I helped innovate and create our Grow Well model, which is our employment model that we'll talk about a little bit later in the presentation. Can we go to the next slide, please? All right. So, why we built a farm and why we hire inclusively. So, a little bit, I just shared a little bit about my background. Nona, who, and Johnny, feel free to jump in at any point on some of this story.
Well, then,
Nona, who is a foodie and also has a brother with a disability and an architect, when we intersected, seeing the need for local produce in a place like Jackson Hole, Wyoming, where we have a growing season that's about 4 months, maybe 3 months. Sometimes we've actually had snow on the 4th of July. It's true. Um, but that food is a universal intersection for all and it doesn't discriminate. And then I brought the workforce. So we opened our doors in 2016, March of 2016. At this time, indoor farming was the fastest growing industry in ag at the time. So we still today, and I know you guys have probably seen in the news, we've had some of these farms not make it. But vertical harvest is still in the game. And so that's what's really amazing and exciting. Johnny, do you want to talk a little bit about unemployment rates with people with disabilities? The third point.
okay. Okay. There are 30% of people with disabilities are unemployed. Oh, actually, people with disabilities experience high unemployment rates. A pool of talented people ready and eager to join the workforce.
Right. And do you want to talk a little bit about it from your perspective as somebody identifying with the disability?
Yeah. I worked at my first job was at Domino's Pizza, and I mostly folded boxes.
And
2 hours a week.
right. And with vertical harvest, we have a chance for upward mobility, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And you have a position, you have opportunities to be in management and to do
Yes,
all different types of things in the farm.
that's right.
Johnny, besides microgreens, what else have you done in the farm?
I used to do tomatoes.
You've, yep, you've worked in all the production areas. What about
Yeah.
deliveries
Yep, I did deliveries too.
and tours?
Yes, I was
And
also a tour guide.
and you even worked in our retail market when we had a retail space before COVID, which we do not have.
That's right.
So again, why build an inclusive farm? Farming food is universal. It doesn't discriminate. And disability, it's the largest marginalized population. It's one that you can join at any time and again, does not discriminate. So this is kind of where the story came from. And this is how we got started. So I think now we will move on to our next slide. And unless there's anything else on that slide, John, you wanted to comment on. You good? Okay, great. Thank you guys. And that is back to the other slide. Sorry, that is another picture of Maine. We've got Maine inside. When I was there last year visiting with another coworker from Jackson, Johnny's also been to Maine, and that's been a really great part of our model. We've been able to bring employees from Jackson to Maine to help with training and to just be a part of this building as it's been built. Great. All right, next slide. So, how do we get to market? In Jackson, we are in local grocery stores, restaurants, smaller markets. We also have donated to our Whole Food Rescue and our food pantries, but we also have an omni-channel sales approach. We want everybody to access our microgreens and everybody to access our petite greens and our lettuces. And we do this through selling to our institutions like hospitals, schools, and hopefully potentially in Maine correctional facilities as well. So it really is truly a community approach. We'll go to the next slide. Johnny, now it's on you.
Oh, there I am, right there.
There you are. What are you doing right there?
I'm seeding microgreens.
Yeah,
Actually, I'm harvesting them.
you are in Comp 5. So now I want, and we're riffing a little bit. Johnny and I like to riff, but John, could you tell us a little bit of a day in the life of being a microgreen lead at Vertical Harvest? What is your job like? What do you do? Who do you work with? We don't have to get into all the details of all the employees, but
Okay.
tell us a little bit about what it's like to work at Vertical Harvest.
Okay. You go up and you bring up some white trays, and then you soak some cellulose in a green bucket, full of water. Then you spray xylitol on the white trays, and then you make labels for the microgreens that you're about to seed. Then you lay the cellulose on the tray, 2 sheets each. Then you measure the seeds and you pour them in a shaker. And then you shake the seeds onto the cellulose and spread them as evenly as possible.
Yes. And how many different types of microgreens do we grow? I know we've grown over the years over 27 types, but right now, how many are you seeding?
Let's see. Oh, I forgot.
I think we're doing about 10 right now. But Johnny, throughout the years since 2016, because Johnny started March 28th of 2016, he was one of our first employees. He has, I think we've had over 27 varieties. And what is unique about microgreens, John?
Oh, they're kind of healthier.
They are healthier. They have 40% more nutritional value than their parent plant. They're the little baby plant. So we really see these as a game changer, especially as with our omni-channel sales approach.
They're half the size of your fingers.
They are half the size into those low income, low access channels. So John, anything else about working at Vertical Harvest? I was going to share a little bit about the Grow Well model. Should I talk a little bit about that? And then you could tell.
Yes, please do.
Should I? Great.
Yeah.
So in the first 17 months of working, we started the farm and the employees all at the same time. Vertical Harvest is not a nonprofit. It's a for-profit. We started
with a nonprofit spirit.
With a nonprofit spirit. You are right. So we started both at the same time, and this was critical, and I'm very grateful we did. We wanted to show the world that people with disabilities have a right to work, they can work, and that we can be a profitable business. In those first 17 months, we were learning as we were doing, learn by doing for sure. Hydroponic farming was new to us. A lot of our systems are all, I think we talked about the Netherlands a little bit earlier. They're all Dutch systems. So every obstacle that you could have, we decided to go for. Not only having that language barrier, the time changing, when we'd have systems break down and trying to call the Netherlands, learning how to fix things, we had every challenge in our way, but we kept persevering. So in those 17 months, this employment model, the Grow Well model, organically formed. And it is now a living, breathing model. It's based on 3 pillars: work well, be well, do well. And it's used throughout the company, from the CEO to the farm level entry associate. So work well is who I am at work. It's my job title, my job description. It's all about my Grow Threes, which are my one-on-one meetings with my managers, or the weekly boost, which is a professional meeting that we have once a week to inform and inspire. It's where our professional development tools lie, our PPRs, which are our form of a review. There are potential productivity reviews. That's the Work Well channel. Everybody in the company has a Grow Well plan and has a path for upward mobility. Johnny has had the opportunity to move into management. He prefers to stay in a lead role in microgreens. That's where he's comfortable, but he's been able to cross-pollinate and, like I said, travel and do some trainings. I think eventually Johnny and I would just like to go on the road and share the story as part of our profession. Who knows? Maybe we'll get to do that. The second part of Grow Well is Be Well, and that is based on the 7 dimensions of wellness. We did not make those up. You can Google them. Sometimes there's 8, but those dimensions are universal across the human scope. So physical wellness, emotional, intellectual, occupational, spiritual, environmental. Let me see if I can get them all, Johnny. I think I'm missing. Did I say financial? I might have gotten them. I might have missed a few, and I apologize. But basically, those dimensions of wellness are talked about throughout the year. Each month, we will focus on a dimension of wellness. We'll talk about it at the Boost, where we're learning about, we're informing and inspiring. It'll be just part of our culture and our ethos. The third part of the Grow Well model is Do Well, and that is who I am in my community. So if I didn't say Be Well is who I am, and then Do Well is who I am in my community. So this is all about our community integration. This is about our advocacy. This is also about our Jedi group. And I'm going to let Johnny, if you could unmute and share a little bit about Jedi,
Yeah, sure.
what it stands for and what we do with Jedi.
Jedi is our weekly. Jedi is something we do after work every Wednesday, usually every Wednesday.
And what does it stand for? That might be a good prompt.
It's an acronym for Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion.
Yes, and it's kind of our human rights group.
That's right.
And each month we have a different topic, from LGBTQ plus to racism to, sorry if I said it wrong, Johnny. Thank you.
It's all right.
To what it is to be human, to disability literacy. Johnny and another coworker and I developed a pretty robust disability literacy training that we've done for other organizations and businesses, and we also do it internally. We talk about disability a lot, and that disability is not a what, John? Not a bad word.
It's not a bad word.
Not at all.
Not a dirty word.
Okay, I've been cued that we have 1 more minute. See, I can keep riffing. So we'll do 1 more slide and we'll close it up. So last but not least, in this last year, we've entered into a really cool partnership with University of Wyoming. They're doing some applied research for us with their CEA program. We also have a job experience program. We work with our local high school, and all the students that are interested in ag and farming can go through that and do a job experience at Vertical Harvest. We just just entered into an apprenticeship program with Together International with two of our new employees at Vertical Harvest Maine. And last but not least, we work closely with our VR agencies and other local disability organizations to make sure that we are tapping into all the workforce available in our local communities. Johnny, did I miss anything? He's muted, but I think he said no. So, our hope is to inspire more businesses to hire inclusively. We're happy to share how we do it. If anybody wants to get our emails later, we'd be more than happy to share more about our inclusive hiring practices. Thank you, guys.
Excellent.
You're really
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you, Caroline and Johnny. We're now going to open our Q&A for the last 10 to 15 minutes or so. And I'd like to start off hearing these wonderful presentations. I'd like to know how many folks, this is a question for all of you, how many folks do your farms employ? Kate? Oh, go ahead, Johnny.
Hang on. We
Johnny,
got about
do you know the answer, John?
we got about 30.
We do right now, and 40% of our workforce identifies as having a disability. That's the
That's
ratio
right.
that's kind of our sweet spot.
Considerable minority.
Yes.
Great.
Capabilities Farm has 40 employees on the farm, and half of which are adults living with disabilities.
Great.
I
Kate?
should, yeah. So Red Wiggler Care Farm, I'm going to say that I think there's 15 employees with disabilities, and maybe another 7 or 8 staff. Don't hold me to that, but yes.
Thank you. And a follow-up to that, and this would be for all of you as well, is what is your advice for an employer who has never worked with marginalized populations like people with disabilities or people who are formerly incarcerated?
I would just stay open. You know, people are people. And stay open and meeting people. I think, was it Rachel or Kate? One of you said meeting people where they're at. It's so important. And I will say, you know, even though my background was in disability, I'd worked as a case manager, independent provider. I had no idea the culture that was going to be created and built. I think, Rachel, you talked about a family as well. We feel the same way. And I know sometimes people will hesitate, oh, you don't, don't family. And I mean, families can be dysfunctional too, but it really is. It's a community, it's an ecosystem, and that people are just people. And, great minds do not think alike, as Temple Grandin says. So, it's important to bring everybody in to really build community and a robust business.
I couldn't agree more. Great minds think differently.
Yes, they do.
Kate or Rachel, do you have anything to add? Or
Yeah, I'll just add that, well, care farming in general, there is it's above and beyond farming, but we want to always stress the fact that care farms are farms. They're production farms. The people that are growing the food are the people that are growing the food. And so there's no but in there, and I would hope that there wouldn't have to be too much persuasion for somebody thinking about purchasing, because there's a lot of work done at care farms where you are going to get the product to the people who need that product. So I think it's a great partnership to have, but we really want to, I would like to just note again that these are, valid production farms operating as businesses doing good work.
Yeah, I can't agree more. I feel like, just do it. You just try it out, and 9 times out of 10 you're just surprised. It's a win. It's a huge win. So I always encourage people to try it out.
great.
Rachel,
Right.
you also said something. I think people come for the plants but stay for the people. And we've had this same exact experience, especially right when we opened. We had a ton of younger, the younger generation right out of college were into sustainability, which is awesome. But so many of them stayed for the people. They came for the plants and stayed for the people. And then people that have left vertical harvest, I am so proud to say, so many of them have gone into working in with people with disabilities that they had no exposure to that before. So that's a big win for me.
Great, thanks. This was a question that was early on in the webinar, and it was answered in the chat, but I want to bring it to everyone's attention again. So Sue Fields had asked you, Kate, how many care farms include living quarters for members or suggested housing nearby, as opposed to no housing considerations? And Andrea from the Care Farming Network had answered saying that there's a national map directory on the website, but and Britt, maybe you can put that back in the chat. But is there anything else that you would like to add to that, Kate?
Yeah, Andre is a other co-director at Care Farming Network. And so, yeah, I think the easiest answer to that, I don't have that right off the top of my head, but when I was talking about care farm models, one of the models is a residential offering, or also, excuse me, sometimes also community life sharing models. And so if you go on our map, you can filter and you can actually look out of all of the farms that are listed on the map, how many are offering residential services.
Great, thank you. And here's a question for Rachel. Do you ever do farm tours for students such as K through 12 or college university partnerships?
Oh, yes, we do tours often. Yes. The short answer, yes, but yeah, we love doing tours.
Great, and thank you so much. And Caroline and Johnny, as you guys expand your operation into Maine, if there are people listening who work in the food service operations from Maine institutions on the call today, what is the best contact information if they are interested in purchasing products from Vertical Harvest?
Well, that's a great question. I've also got Lindsay on here. I don't know if she could speak up, but she's in Maine. I would say right now, just doing our info at Vertical Harvest Farms. You can go to our website. You could also email me directly and I can get in touch with the correct people. But we are very excited. Oh, yes, Lindsay can share too. So, Lindsay, please unmute if I'm saying something incorrectly.
Oh, I was just going to chime in the chat, but yeah, I think info at is a good email as we get started with sales and distribution. We're just on the cusp of that, so we just seeded our first trays for sampling this week, so just getting going. But yes, info at verticalharvestfarms.com is a good email, and then we can filter it to the right person.
Perfect.
Thanks,
All right, great, thanks. All right, our next question from Sophia Gould is, how can we as members of our community support care farms practically, both locally and nationwide?
I'd be happy to take a stab at that. I think what we often say at Care Farming Network is farming is already hard enough, and then you add some care farming in there, and it can be some really difficult trying work. Depending on the farms, there's going to be all sorts of needs. Sometimes, like already mentioned before, it could be a volunteer just coming in and offering some brawn and their time. I will say that it's becoming more and more difficult for farming and farmers in general, nonprofits, for fundraising efforts. So if it fits your budget, providing some financial support is helpful. Just knowing that there's care farms in your, backyard, your neck of the woods, visit them, look at our map, check out what people are doing. There is, I think there's just depending on how you want to plug in, just us building the awareness around care farms and allowing people to connect with farms in their area is the first step in what could be a lot of different opportunities and partnerships available. So.
Great, thanks so much. All right, our next question from Raja Sinjab, and this is for anyone to take. How do we get started? What is the next step? Is there a contact person we can follow up with after this webinar?
Am I understanding it correctly? How do you get started to start a care farm or to connect with the care farm?
I think that would be it.
Or
Raja, if you wanted to jump in real quick for
Yeah,
clarification.
to start like a therapeutic care farm. Yes.
to start a therapeutic care farm? Yeah. Well, let me tell you, we have a beginning care farming series that you can find in our online resource library. We've offered it for 3 years in a row. The last 2 years, we have available video recordings and handouts with different modules focusing on different aspects of starting a care farm, everything from fundraising to figuring out your business model, land considerations, all of that. So check out our online resource library, search for Beginning Care Farming series. I think that's a great way to kind of just get plugged in. Lots of other resources online. As I said before, we do consultations. We think that one of the best ways of getting started is to actually go and visit another farm. Care farmers are some of the most generous people with their time. So just developing those connections and the reason that we exist as a network, regardless of whatever type of farm you have, is because those connections and that networking is so important. We are learning what works when you're starting a farm. Many times we're learning what hasn't worked so you don't make the same mistake. And there's lots of different ways of plugging in. I'll also just say again, with our conference, a lot of people that come are not established care farmers. And I think that Caroline, Johnny, Rachel, you all have been at this. You're doing fantastic work, but there are a lot of people out there that can be a little intimidated by those that have built just these wonderful things. We have a lot of aspiring people who are just in those interest or beginning stages. So you're always welcome to join us and just sign up for our mailing list and we'll provide lots of kind of easy entry points to the network.
I would like that.
Ex-
Thanks very much, Kate.
You bet.
Excellent.
Thanks, Johnny.
And there's a link in the chat there. And before we get to our last question, we would love for you to share your feedback for our very short 2-question evaluation. This information helps us develop useful future programming, and we are grateful for your input. And that is up there. And our last question for everyone is from Chris. How does intention purpose play into the success of these operations? How do you stay intentional?
I can go with that one. That is difficult sometimes when you're pumping out the produce and you're filling the orders to stay intentional about what the mission is. The Farm for Capabilities is a social enterprise that's supposed to be bringing in revenue for the programs. It's supporting the programs. But we want first and foremost it to be the vocational training for our adults with disabilities. So, it's just trying to find that balance, but that we put our mission out everywhere visibly at the farm. We try to make everyone aware of what we're doing, and that will sometimes help. And we have lovely customers, but if there's ever, any sort of dispute about something, we try to encourage that, like, well, please be patient with us. We are a vocational training site, and we let people know like what our true mission is not to just be a market. We are doing bigger and better things that are more than that. So I think that's an important thing, that we just say it. We talk about it. Our intention is out there. And so if anyone's not on board, or don't know, we just remind them.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Rachel. So I'm going to now turn it over to Britt to share more about our upcoming webinars.
Great. Thank you so much, Todd. If you could go to the next slide for us, Kate. As Todd said in the beginning, this is part of a 2025 to 2026 fall to winter webinar series that FINE is putting on, where we like to talk about all the sectors from K through 12 schools to colleges and universities to our carceral facilities. And coming up next on January 14th, is a presentation called Farm to Facility, Increasing Local Food in New England Prisons. And I myself will be one of the presenters, along with Leslie Sobel from Impact Justice, who just launched a book called Eating Behind Bars. Leslie and I have been doing 2 years of research on prison food in New England, what the greatest challenges and barriers are. And we'd love to present those challenges, barriers, but also opportunities. After that, we have a presentation in February about sewing success from Bon Appetit on lessons learned in local sourcing, followed by March 11th, unlocking the full potential of school food systems. You can find out more information on FINE's website. We can put up the link on how to register in the chat, and we'd love to have you attend. All of these webinars are available for free, and the recordings are going to be on FINE's YouTube channel online. And that's it for me. Back over to you, Todd, to close us out.
All right, excellent. Thanks so much, Brett. And just thank you to FINE and to all of you for taking the time today to join us. Thank you to our wonderful speakers, and we look forward to connecting with you all again very soon. Have a great day, have a happy holiday, and just enjoy life, everyone. Thanks so much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you
everybody.
all.
Thanks very much. Pleasure doing business with you.
Great job
Thanks,
presenting.
Johnny looks
Johnny.
like he's ready to get back to work. All right. Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
Have a beautiful
Yeah, see you a little
holiday.
later.
Bye, guys. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.